Hello and welcome to the Banking, Business, and Government video for EcuadorCentral.com. And we're just going to go through the banking real quick. What it is basically you can walk into the country of Ecuador in most cases, and you can get a banking account with a passport, and you also need some kind of electric bill, phone bill, something like that. Now for us, we have a personal helper program, and we have some connections with special bankers that we use, and we can actually get that done just with your passport. Now we would use somebody else's electric bill or phone bill, but our banker will let us do it because he knows that we're helping people come into the country. There are some banks that you don't want to do business with, in my opinion. They're just so busy about all your information, and it's almost like being in the U.S. and Panama and others that are just terrible. You know, they just want to look up your backside with a flashlight. It's things we don't need. So the banking is easy right now. It's not necessarily going to be easy all the time. Things have been getting harder and harder here, just like everywhere else, but it's not nearly as bad as where it is in the United States and Canada. Now, business here is said to be the 153rd worst country in the world to do business in is Ecuador. So maybe that's why they're considered a third world country. I don't know. But it is very, very messed up here. It's very difficult to do it. The current government that's socialist is really, in my opinion, making it hard on companies to make any money. For example, after you've been taxed, which is a normal tax, you get 12% tax here and there, and you've got some really crazy things as far as receipts. For example, in the United States, Canada, you can just take a receipt from Walmart that you bought something for your company and you put it in the pile, and when it comes tax time, you write it off. Well, here it doesn't work that easy. Not only do you have to get the receipt, but you have to get something that's called a factura. And a factura is basically a receipt, but it's a special receipt, you see. It's just got this special name on it. And then right then, or within 5 days, you have to return to that store and give them what's called a retention. And then you retain part of that tax back. And it gets crazier. What happens then is at the end of the tax season, you have to go pay the government that which you retained. And all them steps have to happen, or you don't get the write-off. So that's crazy. So a lot of people won't write it off, which means they get taxed heavier at the end of the year. And the reason why is because the government in Ecuador is actually 25% owner of every company that there is. And here's how that pans out. That at the end of the year, when you're totally taxed and you're all done paying all your taxes, the government gets 25% of your profit. So it behooves you to not make a profit. Now, there's another 15% that of your profit that you have to give back to your employees. So you've got 40%, just in 40% of your profit is gone from the get-go, and that's if you can go through the crazy tax system that they have and actually come up with a legitimate write-off. So business is very hard here. It's very hard to do. That's why a lot of people will actually do business in, you know, cash. It's a cash society in many cases, but they're really pushing it that you have to do the business in the system. But once you get in the system, it's very hard to survive as a company when you're giving away 40% of your profit after tax. So the thing that about the businesses that I like, I explained on the immigration and visa video, is one of the reasons that you would open a company in Ecuador would be for that. Now there are businesses that you can probably make a really good living here, and that you could afford to go through that, or just keep doing write-offs and keep growing your company to the point that you would never have a profit. So those are things that would work. Now the government, being socialist and all that, is still good in the sense that the people are still in control. For example, when we first started looking into Ecuador back in like 2007, it was interesting because there was a 14-year period in which that they had 10 presidents. And so they didn't like their president. They never made it to term. They just, one right after the other, they just kept getting rid of them because they were bad guys. Now the president here now is Correa, depending on how you want to pronounce it. In English, Correa; in Spanish, Correa. But he's interesting because he went to school in the United States and he's learned a lot, in my opinion, what the globalists are doing. And I think that people are figuring it out here just like everywhere else. But technically, I can't be in the political scene here anyway because I'm not a citizen of the country. So I'm just telling you, as someone in America or in Canada, on this private video that you have to sign up to get, that it's a socialist government, and I don't think that that's any hidden secret. So, but when the people get sick of him, they'll get rid of him. But he's done a lot of good things too. He's built good roads. That's what people always say. Well, he builds good roads. Okay, well, hire him as the chief road builder, but you know, running your country may not be the thing that you want him for. Not sure. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up for the banking, business, and government video, and maybe we'll see you in Ecuador.